Alright everyone, in today's episode of learning how to play Dragon Ball Z scorecard game, we're going to be talking about the Dragon Balls. Hey everybody, and thank you for joining us today. And today I want to talk about the infamous Dragon Balls. Before I get started on how to learn how to use these in your score game, make sure to give us a thumbs up or a like and subscribe so you can find out when we release some more content. So, getting right into it, the Dragon Balls are some of the most powerful cards in the Dragon Ball Z score game. They have some really amazing abilities that can turn the tide of a fight very, very quickly. There are multiple different sets of Dragon Balls, as I've laid out here. I actually pulled the Dragon Ball 3 from each set, or from each style. We have the original, which is the Earth Dragon Balls, which came out in the uh, the original Saiyan Saga. Very powerful Dragon Ball, and actually kind of a staple Dragon Ball used a lot. So it lets you draw 3 cards and place top card or your discard at the bottom of your life deck. So kind of replenishes a little bit of life cards, and then it also helps you draw extra cards. The next one that came out after that was the Namek Dragon Balls. This is Namek Dragon Ball 3. Also lets you drop the free cards. But this one lets you pull it from the bottom of your discard, so it'll actually kind of help to keep your life cards in order and replenish some older cards. Then after that, they released the Dende Dragon Balls, then followed by the alternate Dende Dragon Balls, the alternate Namek Dragon Balls, and then Earth Dragon Ball 3 was actually reprinted um, a couple times, one in World Games, one in Majin Buu. Um, just because, like I said, it was a staple and used in almost multiple decks. The downside to Dragon Balls is that if more than one player is playing this and they've already got it out, when you try and pull it out for any reason, it immediately gets removed from game. Um, so you couldn't play it. It'd be kind of painful later on. So releasing the extra sets of Dragon Balls is kind of nice. Now you can't mix and match Dragon Balls that don't have the alternate. So alternate Namek Dragon Balls could actually be paired with regular Dragon Balls as long as they didn't use the same number. So for example, if I were to pull this Namek Dragon Ball 1, I could say use Namek Dragon Ball 1, Namek Dragon Ball 3, but I couldn't use alternate Namek Dragon Ball 3 because it was the same Dragon Ball. Um, but I could use that, or I could use that, because you could mix and match any of the alternates. Same thing with the Dende ones. Um, and when you built the deck, you could have, of course, you could only have one set of all 7 Dragon Balls if you wanted. You didn't have to put all 7 in. You could put just one in. But you could use multiple Dragon Balls as long as it was from the same titled set. So Dende and alternate Dende are considered the same titled set. You can mix and match those as well as the Namekian ones. There was no alternate Earth Dragon Balls. Um, Actually, there might have been. I think there was an alternate Earth Dragon Ball 3. Now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been a promo. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get into an example of how the Dragon Balls are used um, in your game. Okay, so now we have our little mini game going on. You don't see my opponent. We're just gonna pretend there's someone there. You guys just don't see. I am the active player, so I'm getting ready to start my turn. I've drawn my cards. I kept a couple in my hand from previous rounds. So so I'm gonna play some cards. First, I'm gonna play my location here. That does things. I'm gonna play this drill card. That does some other things. And then now I'm gonna play a Dragon Ball. And when you play a Dragon Ball, its effects happen immediately. So as soon as I play it, the Dragon Ball states raise your main personality to its highest power stage. So I'm going to power up Goku to full. And then it states at the beginning of every turn that you control this Dragon Ball, and there's a battleground or location in play, you may choose for that battleground or location to have a blank power box until the end of the next turn. So if there's a power on there, or say your opponent has played a location or battleground that I don't want to have the effects happen on, that Dragon Ball can help negate it. So as you can see, that's actually a really powerful ability. Um, Another thing that can happen is if I'm in combat, say I'm in combat right now, and someone attacks me for 5 life cards of damage. Dragon Balls can't be used as life cards of damage, so oh, there's a Dragon Ball. So what happens is I put it at the bottom of my life deck, and then I start back over. So then 1. Oh, Dragon Ball again. 1. Oh man, I think I just pulled all my Dragon Balls out here. Eventually I'm going to run down to another Dragon Ball. I stacked them on top, obviously. And then I can start going back. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll say he hit me for 5 life cards. So the Dragon Balls all go to the bottom of your life deck. So obviously that can be a help and a hindrance at the same time. For one, it goes it does go to the bottom, which means you're not likely to get them back out. There's the Earth Dragon Ball set is known really well to pull off that form of combo because they allow you to draw so many cards. But another card's discarded in its place whenever you try and pull Dragon Balls. The next big thing that happens with Dragon Balls is someone can capture it. So same scenario, your opponent did 5 life cards of damage. If you do 5 life cards of damage to your opponent, or they do to you, they are allowed to capture a Dragon Ball. So in this instance, they would take my Dragon Ball, and when you capture a Dragon Ball, you're allowed to use its power immediately. So they would power up their character to full, and then they would negate my location if they wanted to. So as you can see, the Dragon Balls become a bit of a power struggle. Now, if you get all 7 Dragon Balls out, you win. But the downside is you don't win unless you control them all. So in this instance, if I were to get all the rest of my Dragon Balls out, I wouldn't win until I could find a way to do 5 life cards or find some way to get that Dragon Ball back under my control. Another interesting fact is that that a lot of people have made a small mistake, and this doesn't happen too often. Most people who read the rules really know this. But if you say I have all 7 Dragon Balls out, and so we'll do that. We'll say I have all the Dragon Balls out on my side. From over here, where you guys can see them at. I'll put my life deck over here instead. Say I have all these Dragon Balls out right now, and the problem is my opponent owns that one, so there's no way that I can win right now. But if I hit him for 5, say I attack him for 5 points of damage, then I can take this back into my possession. Now when I do not win the game immediately. I actually win the game on my following turn. Now, if I had played it during this turn, say I owned all of these, and then I said, okay, before I declare combat, I'm going to play my last Dragon Ball. Now I win the game. That's the only way that you can win instantaneously from a Dragon Ball victory, is you have to have them all in your possession and play the last one. You win instantly then. If you don't, and you play the last Dragon Ball and your opponent owns one of your Dragon Balls, you may capture it back, but now you don't win it till the beginning of your next turn. So it gives your opponent a chance to take it back and keep you from winning through Dragon Ball victory. Something to keep in mind whenever you're playing Dragon Ball decks. Sometimes hidden rules are a little rough, so always remember that you can do 5 life cards of damage, and be able to take someone's Dragon Ball. Another thing to think about though is that that 5 life cards of damage has to be actual life cards. So if they have any way to prevent damage, say you do 5 points of damage and they prevent 2 of it, you can't take a Dragon Ball. You have to do 5 actual life cards of damage. Alright, so the next interesting rule about your Dragon Balls here is there are specific allies that, at least by the time that World Games came out and by the time that Buu Saga came out, that could actually do damage and take a Dragon Ball for much less than a player, a regular attack. One of which was actually Krillin. In Buu Saga, they pushed for Krillin to be one of those. So we'll take this scenario. Goku's down to 0 or 1 above, and an ally can take over. And I'm going to have Krillin take over the combat. He's at, we'll just put him at a couple above. We'll just put him at 3 above. Doesn't matter. And I do an energy attack, does 5 life cards of damage. As long as this attack from Krillin, because I'm using his ability, as long as this attack from Krillin does at least 1 life card of damage, you can capture Dragon Ball. So that's an interesting rule. There are actually a couple others. Bulma, the Cybermen, Chi-Chi, Tien, Garlic Jr., Goldo, Frieza, Yamcha, Master Roshi, Videl, all those can do that. And then one final part, if for any reason, and I saved this for the end because we have some abilities that will make you discard Dragon Balls from your hand or from your deck. The final part of discarding is that even if the Dragon Balls are discarded, there's something called a Dragon Ball check. So you basically, as soon as they are discarded, you check to see if they're in play. If they're not in play, then they're put at the bottom of your life deck. If they are in play, they're removed from game. That way you can't have multiple of the same Dragon Ball in play. Now, the biggest difference here is that is the counting of the cards. So Dragon Balls do not count towards life cards of damage, which means that someone does 2 life cards of damage to you, you draw a top 2 if they're Dragon Balls, you still have to discard 2 more. But if someone has an effect that says discard the top 2 cards of your deck or of your opponent's life deck, they count as those 2 cards. They are still put at the bottom of your life deck, but they take away the count, meaning that you don't put them at the bottom and take another 2. This is an interesting way that Dragon Balls can actually be helpful in playing against opponents that have milling or discarding of life cards off the top of your deck. Dragon Balls can actually help you out of that because they actually count towards those numbers compared to life cards where they don't. It can also help you when it's in your hand and you say you don't want to play that Dragon Ball anyway. You've been holding on to it for a couple turns and you don't really want to discard it because you don't want to go to the bottom of your life deck. You might have a better use for it. And someone uses an effect that causes you to discard a card. You can discard the Dragon Ball. That'll take away the fact that they discarded a card that you needed. And then it gets to go to the bottom of your life deck, keeping your life deck in order. So guys, I hope this was enlightening for you. I want to try my best to get you guys some ideas on some of those intricacies in the game that are hard to keep track of. Dragon Balls can be really confusing, and this type of game, the more you know about the insider rules, the more exciting it actually gets, and the easier it is to deck build. Because some people, I remember when I was playing the game back during its heyday, if you, a lot of people avoided playing Dragon Ball Victory. They were more afraid that people would have some magical way to take them. They didn't want to have to keep track of how much damage somebody was doing, just so they would lose a Dragon Ball. They didn't want to have the opportunity to give their opponent an advantage. Similar to locations and battlegrounds were pretty rarely played, just because they benefit and hurt you sometimes, and you don't really. A lot of players didn't like to play with that risk. So anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. If you like the video, obviously thumbs up and likes. I'm going to put the link in the at the end of this video to show you some more parts of learning how to play the game, and hopefully you come back wiser and ready to play. Have a good one, guys.